Here's what nobody is telling you about your bad habits. You don't have a habit problem. You have a memory problem. And that changes everything about how you approach this. I know that sounds strange, maybe even a little frustrating if you've tried everything. And I have. Apps, journals, habit trackers with little check boxes that felt really satisfying to fill in for about 11 days. I read the books, I set the alarms, I started fresh more times than I can count. And what has always happened was the same thing. Life got stressful and I snapped right back like a rubber band. And what I noticed, and this took me a long time to be honest about, was that the stress wasn't just triggering the old behavior, it was triggering the old me, the version of me who had the habit in the first place, the one the M.U.D was written for. That's when everything shifted. M.U.D stands for Misguided Unconscious Decisions. These are the beliefs your nervous system formed during stressful moments, usually early ones, when it was trying to figure out how to keep you safe. Something like, I'm only safe when I'm in control, or rest is something I have to earn. These don't feel like beliefs, they feel like facts about the world. And that's the point. They were never filed under things I decided. They were filed under how reality works. And here's the part that surprises most people. Your habits aren't a failure of willpower. They're proof that your nervous system is working exactly as designed. The late night snacking, the overworking, the scrolling until your eyes blur at midnight, these aren't random. They're protective. They're your nervous system running the program it wrote years ago to manage something that felt overwhelming at the time. The habit isn't the problem. The habit is the symptom. The M.U.D is the root. Stay with me because the next part is where it actually makes sense. Most habit change programs hand you a better bucket, bail faster, be more disciplined, use a better app. But nobody's asking, why is there a hole in the boat? If the M.U.D says I'm not safe unless I'm numbing, then every time stress rises, the nervous system will find a way to numb. You quit one thing and another appears because the instruction hasn't changed. This is why people quit smoking and start overeating, why they stop drinking and start overworking. The behavior shifts. The drive underneath it doesn't until you go back to where the decision was made. Here's the neuroscience, and I promise it's worth knowing. When a memory is retrieved, when something in your present triggers that old feeling, the memory briefly becomes what's called labile, open, editable. Think of it like a document left open for revision. While it's open, you can change it. Once it saves and closes, the new version becomes the file. That's the window. That's what identity level work is actually doing. It's catching the memory while it's open. When you use memory reconsolidation approaches, you're not fighting the habit. You're going back to the moment the M.U.D was formed, and you're updating the file. The cement was poured over time. It softens over time too. So if you've been hard on yourself for not being able to change, I want you to hear this. You were never failing at habits. You were succeeding perfectly, following instructions that were written before you even know you were writing them. That's not a character flaw. That's a memory waiting to be updated. Here's what I'd love to know from you. What's the habit that keeps coming back, no matter how many times you try to change it? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And sometimes naming it is the first step to understanding what it's actually protecting. If this landed for you, share it with someone who's been hard on themselves about their habits. They need to hear this one too. I'll see you in the next one.